Namaskar, Jolly here with the second episode of my season 2 podcast for faith, love, and care. Today I'm going to talk about how to be an entrepreneur in this difficult times. Most of us who had lost the jobs or had gone into financial difficulties would have very quickly looked at the option of starting something of their own. But starting is not easy and it needs a very specific and detailed manner how to go about it. Although the life of an entrepreneur is full of madness, but there is a lot of method into this. I have been an entrepreneur for almost 12 years now, and there was a way of doing things, of getting things done, and moving across the market. I never made a loss in this 12 years. I made huge profits, and that is why I was able to survive all these days without an earning. Yeah, almost 10 months out of that, I have started earning only in the last 3 4 months. But prior to that, for almost 6 months, I was without any earnings. So my past savings and help from my existing customers who wanted to support me and help me to survive, I managed to survive. But even during those COVID days, I never sold at a loss. How did I do it? Now, this program spread over four podcasts will tell you how you must plan your things. The first thing that I did when I wanted to enter into entrepreneurship about 12 years back, I was in Kolkata in a very comfortable job with one of the largest companies of India, and it was home territory for me because I had worked 7 8 years in the initial years of my career, and I knew most of the corporates, I knew most of the people around there, the social circle. I had everything going out there. But then I decided to move out. I wanted to create a business on my own capabilities. And for doing that, I cannot stay in that cage or I cannot stay inside a cave. I needed to move out of the cave. And that is the story of this entrepreneurship where I started my career and I started my things to do it my way. Now, why it is important to move out? In the existing scenario, wherever you are, with your parents, with your social circle, and with everybody around, there will be too many people to guide you and tell you what to do and what not to do. You will never get things done on your own. There would be either somebody looking over your shoulder or under your nose. Now that's terrible for running a business. You need to do business on your own terms in the way you think is the right way. And the first step is to forget the past, forget your upbringing, forget your knowledge, forget the skills. Only thing that you remember is your diligence, your hardworking nature, and your risk taking capabilities. That means you are not risk averse. If these three things are intact, please move out of the environment that you have lived in, because half the time you'll think, what are these people thinking? Are they thinking I'm a failure? Are they thinking I'm successful? How will I make them happy? Now, these are unbusinesslike thoughts. These are thoughts which will hold you back. So, the first thing that I did was to move out of Kolkata. And I decided to come to Delhi because I thought Delhi was the center head of all decisions. It is the fountainhead where all powers come from. So if I am close to it, I will get opportunities in most of the businesses that I want to be. The second thing was that I need not prove myself to anybody. I just got to prove myself, follow my heart, work within my ethics, and do a good job. I wanted to start afresh. People in Kolkata knew me as a vice president of India's largest company. Seeing me doing door to door sales calls would have been very bad for me. But here in Delhi, since nobody knew me, I was like any other person on the street, talking to my customer, learning from them, understanding the market, understanding the challenges that lay ahead of me, went to corporates, spoke to them, found out from them what they need, how they needed it, what the fast-paced life, what are their commitment levels, am I going to build a business based on a wholesome idea or is it a half-baked cake? I went through all the processes and you know what? The best part was it, nobody was looking over my shoulder. Nobody was telling me that I am doing something right or wrong. So, in order to start something new as an entrepreneur, just remember your basic skills, whatever is your basic skills, either engineering graduate or a non-engineering graduate, class 10, class 12, it hardly matters. Because as I will tell you things, you deal with only the present, and the present is that you need to leave your past behind. If I would have thought that, look, I was a vice president of India's largest company, I wouldn't have been able to talk to my corporate clients of how to do business as a new learner. I wouldn't have the tenacity to deliver meals when I was doing my food business. All those things would have held me back because those days in Kolkata, I was the vice president. So how could a vice president go and deliver? Here in Delhi, I was a normal guy on a two-wheeler, going out and delivering meals and talking to corporates and doing so many things. And it didn't hinder me back. Nothing held me back. I was free to do whatever I wanted to do. My family was the only thing aware of what I was doing. They were supporting me, they were enabling me. So the first thing is to come out of your cave. The moment you come out of your cave, you will have face to face interaction with the outside world. And that is the reality. You must understand today's reality, not what you had been, what you were in the past. And understand today's reality by those basic learnings that you have, whether a class 10 guy, 12 guy, engineer, MBA, or whatever your basic knowledge is. Evaluate those opportunities, what you think would be right for you. So, my recommendation is please, please change the environment, change the market, get into a new market, get into something very different from what you have been doing so that you are not shackled by your past. You are able to move freely into the future. Once you have decided to move, the day you decided to move, I think you have taken the biggest decision of your life. Now, two more other decisions are there which are basic in nature to become an entrepreneur, and this is what I did. I evaluated my basic skills and my nature, and I was very honest to myself. Am I a person who would like to work with a team, or am I a person who wants to work as an individual? Am I a team who is a born leader, or am I going to lead a team who is just going to be a yes man and do everything that I want them to do? There are so many choices, there are so many leadership styles. One needs to think how one will go about doing it. That's important because based on that thinking, you will be able to understand what type of people you're going to attract. You are a leader. That means amongst the leadership team that you propose to build up, you will be a leader to them, and all of you all together will drive. Now, is it going to be a centric power of all you people, or it is going to be a shared power? The team is going to learn, unearth innovative ways, and do it. Will your personality allow that? Will your personality tell you don't go that way? Now, this is something which comes from our heart and which is based on individuals. Nobody can dictate this, but you must learn from it. You must understand yourself as to what you want. See, the world has full of such examples. Let me start by looking at the ants. You know what the ants do? They're extremely disciplined, they all move in a line, they never break their queue. But once a task is over, all of them get disbanded and they move into another task. Different ants move into different tasks seamlessly. They don't need a leader. I have never seen any ant leader. Ants just complete the task and get involved into another work as a team member and complete that task. So, are you going to have a team who is all knowing and who can contribute in whatever task the organization faces in the future? Or are you going to be a beehive where you have a specialized people like the bee who goes and collects honey? But even the bees are smart, huh? They don't over collect from a flower, else the flower will die. They are conscious of how much they collect and they move on from flowers to flowers. They don't restrict themselves to only a few flowers. They move around completely all across the field, visiting so many flowers, but their only objective is to get get the honey back into the comb. And in the comb, they come and contribute by building the honeycombs. Is it that way? Or are you going to be a chimpanzee, the patriarchal type? A chimp always orders. A chimp always tells you how to do the work. So, do you are you considering yourself to be a chimp to tell everybody how they should work under you, or are you going to be a bonobo? Now, bonobos are the mini chimps. They are like chimpanzees, but they resemble humans to the largest possible extent, and they don't dictate anything. Everything is shared within the group. Normally, lady bonobos uh, guide and control the tribe, and if they are into some problem, male bonobos are available to help them, and they share everything within the group, whether it is food or habitat or uh, progeny or whatever way they have a huge social culture. They are a social being. Would you like to develop an organization which is socially strong so that everybody communicates with each other, likes each other, and supports each other? Are you going to be a prophet for them and they, your followers, will believe you and respect you? Now, these are certain choices. There are hundreds of leadership styles available. What is your style? And that is what you will need to identify, because nobody is going to identify that for yourself. You will have to talk to yourself, write out your vision, your wishes, your demands, what is that which drives you, and based on such desires and drives, you must write down what is your management style. Once you have done that, you have completed the first two steps of becoming a successful entrepreneur. The third area which will make you a complete entrepreneur is, are you willing to dirty your hand? Meaning, are you going to go out and talk to the prospective customers? Are you personally going to get involved in deciding what type of market you want to be in? The whole wide world is open to you, and you can take as difficult or as challenging a market as metals and mining, where you can create a disruption. So it is your choice. Are you going to be a simple entrepreneur, simply into marketing or mining, or providing them the machinery for mining? Or are you going to be a marketplace for mining? Are you going to create a disruption in the marketplace? What is it that you want to do? Are you going to be in a proven area of work which all traditional businesses have, and you become one of the players? Now, if you want to create a disruption in the marketplace, say of the mining industry, what is it that you will have to do? What is it that you want to do for creating a disruption? That means you need to understand operations of that market backwards, talk to customers where their pain area is in the traditional ways of doing business, what bottlenecks they face, and what are the challenges of this disruption. Because when you bring in disruption, there's going to be hue and cry, and you have to work really hard to convince people, the same people who are the manufacturers, producers, or distributors, or suppliers to that industry, to look at your model and how that model is going to benefit them. So you need to develop the story of your choice, like I did when I went out for selling my recruitment business and HR consultancy business. I would talk about that I will give my clients a ready-made candidate. What does a ready-made candidate mean? That these candidates will be personally interviewed by me or my team members. Now, no candidate will reach the client's interview without our interface, and only those candidates who are shortlisted by us will meet the client, because then we would have counseled the candidates, we would have told him the complete JD, we would have expected their expectations from this new company, what roles they will have to perform. That means we will prime the candidate for everything which normally a client is supposed to do. Now that created value for my customers. And the way I explained to them how I handle job descriptions, how I convert all job responsibilities that are written part of it into numbers which can be, annually finalized and assessed, they really enjoyed it. Most of my candidates that got finally selected stayed for an average of 6 years in a company. That means we had done a great job in finding the right fit, both in terms of a match of their values, a match of their corporate, and the way they thought they are going to contribute. And for staying anything more than 5 plus years, I think it's a great show by the candidate. And we were happy and showcased this strength to our future clients. Now, that is the type of disruption that you need to bring. Everybody says that we interview candidates, but they don't do it. They seriously don't interview a candidate to the depths to understand whether this candidate is willing to change or not. And most of the time, if by chance these candidates get selected, they drop out. Now that's a huge loss to the client because they have wasted time and money and time in waiting for these candidates to join and they don't join. Whereas most of my candidates joined, I had a hit ratio of almost 90% of joining, and it was really great for them. So that's how I managed. When I was in the food business, I really met candidates who wanted my meals, the corporates who wanted our meals, and believe me, it was challenge to meet the expectation of 30 guys eating at the same time and having different viewpoints of what is the right combination of meals that has to be served and so on. And everybody had their own bright ideas. None of them were wrong. But we had to put that in a system so that our back kitchen operations did not fail. And we managed that successfully. And the clients got happy and we continued to do business profitably. Now, you as an entrepreneur, if you are moving into a domain which has its own established businesses, how will you create that disruption? If you don't create a disruption, you will never be successful. You need to create a disruption with the supply side and you need to create a disruption in the market side, in the demand side. And there lies in your success. If you have come to this conclusion by now, then perhaps you are ready as an entrepreneur. Thank you so much for your time today. I hope you have enjoyed listening to the second podcast of how do we become a great entrepreneur. Over the next three more episodes, we will cover most of the entrepreneurship journey till product launch and hope you will keep on listening to me and supporting me. Thank you so much. Namaskar. Have a nice day.